They have very little hope for the future.
While statistics show abortion is most common among the affluent, Brownchog says it's a poor solution at best. A better answer, she says, is improving self-image.
We have to have young women with better self-esteem who feel that they are capable of achieving and accomplishing something other than bearing a child.
And she says until education improves in school and at home, children will continue having children.
That's our report for now. Join me again in 1 hour for more news and weather coming up right after the Big Valley.
Q13, the Northwest's own movie channel, KCPQ.
Dynasty, weekdays at 3 here on KCPQ 13.
Monitoring equipment.
But for patient Gertrude Pigeon, no documentation is needed.
Takes your mind off what's going on in the hospital.
That's our report for now. Be sure to join me in 1 hour for more news and weather. And we'll also have a report on a Japanese delicacy that's just about to hit the U.S.
Q13, the Northwest's own movie channel, KCPQ.
Dynasty, weekdays at 3 here on KCPQ 13.
Is the Graham-Rudman budget balancing law unconstitutional? That's up to the U.S. Supreme Court to decide. It says it will do that by July. Good afternoon, I'm Marianne McClary. The court said today it will review a ruling by a federal panel that struck down a central provision of Graham-Rudman. The Supreme Court agreed to hold 2 hours of arguments on it sometime in April. The court has also cleared the way for an accused Nazi war criminal to be extradited to Israel. John Demjanjuk is alleged to have helped kill hundreds of thousands of Jews in a World War II death camp. The Supreme Court also decided today not to touch a tough Texas law prohibiting students from taking part in school sports or other extracurricular activities if they're failing a class. Students said the law violated their constitutional rights. The court sided with the school. Texas Air of Houston will soon be the new owner of financially troubled Eastern Airlines. Eastern says the agreement will enable it to become stronger and more competitive. But it also said it was forced into the deal because its machinist union would not accept enough concessions to keep it flying. Flood warnings are still in effect for all western Washington rivers. We'll see some rain later on today, becoming heavier this evening. Tonight's low is 45 with gusty winds expected. Tomorrow there is an 80% chance of showers. The high is expected to be in the mid-50s. How much would you pay to take a tour of the sunken Titanic? Well, you can for a mere $50,000. An expedition from New Orleans plans to recover some more of the artifacts from the Titanic. I'll be back with more right after this. Americans wouldn't think of eating raw fish or sushi a few years ago, but it's very popular these days. As CNN's Jim Thomas reports, the success of sushi is bringing in more of Japan's delicacies.
Americans have long been familiar with some Japanese foods such as sukiyaki and teriyaki, and during the past few years have even taken to eating raw fish, what the Japanese call sushi. Sushi bars abound in Southern California, the hip diet for the sleek chic. Acceptance of Japanese cuisine in the U.S. has been so dramatic that Pacific Asian entrepreneurs are now test marketing another centuries-old Japanese fare called kappo. Unlike sushi, which is almost always fish and mostly eaten raw, kappo dishes can be made from meat, vegetables, and eggs, as well as seafood. And for Americans who can't stomach raw food, kappo can be served broiled, boiled, steamed, or deep fried. These two Los Angeles businessmen sampled some kappo for the first time at the Kuasei restaurant in Little Tokyo. Their selection included deep-fried whole crab, broiled fish, and steamed vegetables.
It's very good and tasty. I haven't had it before, but it's worth another try. I think the idea that it's cooked, I think, will go over better with a lot of American people.
But kappo may be a difficult food to adapt to American fast food tastes, according to Ms. Taki, who owns one of Los Angeles' finest Japanese restaurants, Horikawa. She says there are more than 50 varieties, and that the choosing can be complicated.
It's very difficult to know kappo, and